Absolutely. And that's a great question, Barsha. So I get this question, to be honest with you, asked probably 5 times every day. And meaning my job is to reach out to people and figure out how many people can I help any day be part of the home ownership, right?
Absolutely, that's great.
So people ask me, hey, you know what? I'm very interested in buying a home. I'm actually tired of paying the rent.
Right.
My rent just increased by $300 and I don't want to pay that, but I don't have any option. Then I ask them, hey, why don't you have any option? How much rent you are paying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm paying $3,200 rent. Okay. And why are you not able to buy a home? I don't know. I think you need 20% money to down payment to get into a home. I said, no. All you need is reasonable enough credit score. And the definition of reasonable enough credit score. And this is another myth which people have, that they need 740 plus credit score to get into a home. You really don't need that.
Okay.
When I talk about reasonable enough credit score, I'm talking about 680 plus.
Okay.
And there are lots of lenders who will even take you, even if you have credit score less than 680. But generally, 680 is what I'll consider a silver lining. Yeah, go ahead, Varsha, please.
Yeah, this may sound very silly. I don't know enough about real estate investment, so pardon my ignorance. But these lower levels that are also accepted, would that have any implications on the interest rate? Like if I cannot pay 20% down payment, or if my credit score is below 740, then does that impact my interest rate though?
Absolutely, and that's a wonderful, great question, Barsha. So there are two ways to look at it. Okay. Lots of time people get hung up into the interest rates. I hear that objection every time that, hey, if I do this, interest rates will be high. If I do this, interest rates will be high. So just imagine what I just told a couple of seconds ago, that the way you have to evaluate it is, I'll get answer to your question in a moment. Sure. The way to evaluate it is that the monthly payment which you are making, which you are paying towards your home, whether that is comfortable for you or not.
Uh-huh.
Number two, whether you are able to offset the rent or not.
Right.
Interest rates, in fact, doesn't matter. We have even done loans, and loans have different loan programs.
Right.
We can package the loan in a number of different ways.
Okay.
We have packaged loans where the interest rate have been higher, but the monthly payment have been down.
Okay.
Right. So interest rates is not just an indicator of that whether the interest rates will be high based on such parameters. The right questions to ask is, what will be my monthly down payment? What will be my monthly payment? Mm-hmm. Whether that monthly payment I'm going to be able to afford or not. That's the first question you should ask.
Mm-hmm.
Second question you should ask is, what benefits I am getting if I am able to offset my rent with my monthly mortgage? Anyhow, you are paying rent.
Right.
Why to pay rent?
Yes.
If you can take that money, move into your own home, pay towards your mortgage.
Why not?
Increase the equity on your home. Your home is sitting, you are enjoying your home, your investment is making money. Why not do that? Right? So those are some of the right questions to ask.
Okay.
Going back to the question which you asked me, whether the interest rates will be different or not. Absolutely. Absolutely. So banks, they're not saints, and they're not in the business of giving you money for free. They're in the business of making money. Right? The higher risky a buyer is or a borrower is, so the banks, they evaluate you on 3 different levels, what we call as 3 C's. Mm-hmm. Just note the C, 3 C's. Mm-hmm. Your credit, your capacity to purchase. Mm-hmm. And what is the second one? Your credit score.
Okay.
And your character. That's the third thing. Okay. Capacity means how much money do you have? That's the capacity. We have even done loans where people say that, hey, you know what? I missed couple of my home payments or couple of my rental payments last year because I was running through this bad patch where I lost my job, and because everybody runs into those things, right?
Yes.
So banks really look for that. It doesn't mean that those last 2 payments, even though they are reflecting bad on your credit score, even though they have dropped down, credit scores are numbers. Mm-hmm. Humans are not looking at those numbers, meaning those numbers are generated by computers, right? What banks do is, okay, you have a lower credit score, 680. Remember, banks are in the business of giving us money so that they can make money. Mm-hmm. They will find each and every scenario to give you money so that they can make money. Even though you go and tell them 680, then they will go back and look at you that whether your credit score is less because of your character, because you're a bad habitual person who habitually don't pay rent, or you didn't pay rent for a couple of months because you ran into some reasonable issue, right? So all those things banks takes into consideration if you are working with a great lender, right? So sometimes people have this myth, my credit score is low. No, that's absolutely not true. And we have a number of ways even if your credit score is low, we can change your, meaning we can amend your credit score, we can amend it as much as possible.
Yeah.
Half of the times I'm very surprised people don't even know why their credit score is low. And when we go back and look at their credit sheets, there are lots of times mistakes from the credit unions who will post something on their credit score and their credit score will go low. People just don't understand that, right?
Right.
So we can repair all those things, make up their credit score low. And to answer your question, absolutely, the risky the borrower you are, banks want to make more money off of you. But it's not like instead of charging you 3%, they'll charge you 10%. They can't do that.
Right.
Instead of charging you 3%, they might charge you 3.25%. That's the difference between a low risk borrower might be 3%, a medium risk borrower might be 3.25%, a high risk borrower might be 3.5%. That's the level of risk you are talking about, but you're not talking about like 3% to 7%.
Got it.
Right. So you have to evaluate that whether that jump in 0.25% of more interest rate or jump in 0.5% of more interest rate, how much effect is it having on your bottom line of monthly payment?
Right.
$10? Is it $20? Is it $50? Is it $100? How much that is?
Under the rented, the amount that you were paying to the rent,
right.
For your rent every month. So then
right.
that justifies the amount.
Right. Yeah. Right. Even if ask yourself that question, if I'm renting this place, and let us say based on that increased interest rate, I'm paying $100 more, right? If I were to rent this place, will I pay $100 more towards the rent to rent this place or not? That's the question to ask.